Obviously, you're well aware we have a situation where there's just many young adults who can't afford a down payment on a home, and builders are not necessarily incentivized to create enough starter homes or entry-level homes for younger generations to begin to build wealth. So instead of the federal government being the answer to everything, I know there's some attempts at the local level, and I'd love to hear if you're aware of some of those. The example I continue to cite is a Next Generation Housing Initiative. It's in Washington County, which is in my district in Wisconsin. It's a locally driven effort to expand affordable home ownership for middle-income families by developing about 1,000 units of new owner-occupied homes by 2032. So this is real. This is really happening right now. It was backed by $10 million, which was a county investment. The program provided infrastructure subsidies to developers and down payment assistance to buyers, up to $20,000 per home. And what it does is it sets kind of a clear affordability target. It requires that 40% of the homes be sold under $340,000. And all of them have to be under $420,000, all right? So I think there's some things we could do at the federal level to assist some of these types of programs to reduce development costs and expand housing options. The initiative, it also promotes zoning reforms, which talk to any Wisconsin home builder right now. It's a big part. We talked a little bit about the underground and everything, all the prep that needs to be done before a lot is ready to go. And then a public-private advisory group that oversees the effort. And there are some other options too. There's some volunteerism that young couples can get engaged in if they want to earn some of those credits. So I think Mr. Maudy, maybe have you heard of any of these types of programs, or are you aware of anything that's being done at the local level that is similar to this?
Where I work, we focus solely on multifamily, so I'm not as familiar with some of the single-family programs. There are some states we operate in that will have a single-family state housing credit that folks can use, but as far as on my day-to-day and utilizing those programs, I have not.
Yeah, Mr. Garcia, are you aware of anything that, I know there was some stuff, the last time we had a hearing, I think it was in mid-May, there was some discussion about a program in Colorado that is very similar in some smaller mountainous towns, I know.
I think there are a couple examples, both at the state level and the local level, where you have assistance for first-time homebuyers or just homebuyers in general. California has a statewide program called Dream for All. I think it's wildly oversubscribed, which tells you the need for something like down payment assistance, and I think there's something to that. I think the challenge is, without a commensurate increase in housing supply, you are not necessarily going to drive the cost of the housing down. So the down payment assistance is useful, but you also need to think about, okay, we need to increase housing supply overall. And so to your point about no incentive to build, say, starter homes, this is where a lot of the zoning reform, land use regulation changes come into play, where you zone and plan for smaller starter homes that we used to build pretty routinely. Those are the kinds of things that if we can get the market working right to provide those are going to be naturally more attainable than the kind of larger homes that we see going for kind of exorbitant prices today.
Right, density should be our friend in many of these projects, right? Not everybody can have a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. A lot of what is needed are these starter types homes. I was just going to ask, Mr. Byer, do you see a role for, and have you experienced as in the banking industry, a role for financial institutions on this front?
Well, I appreciate the question. As I begin to think about my state, we are seeing partnerships. To your point, volume is really where we're at in terms of keeping costs down and providing the supply of homes. We currently, under our rural workforce housing program, have 4 different towns that have literally contracted with one townhouse developer because there was not enough demand in one community. But what they're then literally pooling their resources and saying, my community will guarantee 12, my community will guarantee 20, and this developer now is ready to embrace 40 to 60 townhomes in a very rural area. And so we think that volume is important. Our banks are coupling that with, again, low interest loans or first-time homebuyer loans as part of that process. I applaud the work that you've done with the ACRE Act, which would again provide another
Right.
tool
Yeah.
to help with lower cost mortgages. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there to build volume and keep costs down.
Thank you for being here. I yield back.